Hello, and welcome to today's lesson, Area Volume Unit 3, Lesson 3. The topic that we're going to be looking at here is finding the area of a sector. So when we look at the idea of the sector of a sector is a portion of the whole circle that starts at the center, has two radii for its length, so you want to think about the fact that this is an isosceles triangle, and then we have an arc distance in between. Okay, so how can we find the area of the circle? That's what we're going to be looking at here, and it's the idea of the proportion of the circle. So now, if we think about the circle overall, let's first look at a real easy situation. What if we have the diameter for our sector of the circle? How much of the circle would that be? It would be 1/2 of the circle, or if we think about the arc lengths, a semicircle is 180 degrees out of 360 degrees. So that tells us that it is 1/2 of the circle. Now, in this situation, our area is the proportion of the circle. We have a shaded 30-degree sector out of 360 of our total area, which is pi r squared. Okay, so we have our pi, we have our radius 5, so we've got 5 squared pi. So when we're finding the area of a sector, it is the part of the whole that is made up of the entire area. And we can do some reducing here. Okay, 30 over 360 is 3 over 36, which is 1 over 12. 5 squared is 25, not 52. Let's actually write that correctly here. 25 pi. Okay, so we're almost done here, and what we want to do with these answers is, unless we're told to round and find an estimated value, we want to leave these values exact. So we want to keep our values in the numerator. 1 times 25 is 25. We've got the 12 in the denominator, and then we have the pi. So this would be the exact answer for the area of the sector. If you're typing this into Schoology, there's a couple ways that you can type it in. You could do 25 over 12 pi. You could do 25 pi over 12. So all of these would be correct answers in Schoology. Now, let's look at a couple extra. Find the radius of the circle given that the area of the sector is 3 pi. So now, what we want to remember, the area is x out of 360, okay, the proportion of the overall area, radius squared pi. So this is our formula for any situation where you're trying to find the area of the sector. Now, in this case, we give you the area of the sector. We give you the ratio, 30 over 360, and we still have our r squared pi. So now, we need to start doing some simplifying in this case. One of the easiest things you can do is if you have a pi in every term on both sides, we can eliminate the pi's. And now we have 3 equals, and we reduce this in the last problem, so we have 1/12 r squared. The r squared stays in the numerator, it doesn't go down with the 12. Now, we need to get this 12 out of the denominator. Okay, so we have it over 1, and in this case, we can just cross multiply. 36 equals r squared. And then we finish up by square rooting both sides to get the radius by itself. Okay, so what we have to remember here is, like any area volume type of problem, always start with the formula, plug in what you're given, and you're either going to work it straight away or you're going to have to do some solving by moving pieces side to side. okay, to isolate a value in the end. Okay, now, next example here, find the measure of the central angle given that the area of the sector is 1.5 pi. So once again, we're always starting with our equation. Plug in what we know. We know the area of the sector, 1.5 pi. We know that we have x over 360. We have our radius is 3 squared, and then we've got pi. Okay, so once again, this is what we call a solving problem because we're trying to get x by itself. It's not an evaluate where we have everything on one side and we're just trying to put it all together. So in this situation, we divide the pi out from both sides. Then we have 1.5 over 1. What we're going to do is try to work this through proportion-wise because that's going to make things a little bit easier for us. We have 3 squared is 9 times x over 360. So now, in this situation, what we're going to do is if we have equal proportions, it's that idea of cross multiply and solve. So we have to do 1.5 times 360. Okay, which is 540. So 9x equals 540, and then we divide both sides by 9. And remember, the answer here is actually going to be degrees because we're finding a degree measure. So we have 540 divided by 9, and that gives us a 60-degree angle. Okay, so that's the situation where we're trying to find the sector arc length, our central angle. We had the situation where we're trying to find the radius given the area, and then we have our standard problem. We're given the arc length or central angle, we're given the radius, and we're just trying to find the area. So that concludes our lesson for today. Have a great day and good luck on the homework.